and the Americans will probably be quite aware of the ARRIVE trial. And that's what stimulated us off to do our study. And the ARRIVE trial was, of course, the large randomized trial that randomized women who were 39 weeks and low risk to having an induction or waiting up to a week. So it really wasn't waiting very, very much. And out of that trial, what really struck me was that 27% of the eligible women agreed to be randomized. So for me, I'm looking at this and going, we've got, up to 80% in the induction of labor trials where women say, no, thank you, I don't want to be induced. Well, what's that say to you about the acceptability of induction of women's instinct around it? And the other thing was, in the ARRIVE trial that really struck me was only 6% were cared for by midwives, 94% were cared for by private obstetricians who were not blinded to a treatment which they implicitly endorse, because inductions is much more of an accepted tool to obstetricians compared to midwives. And of course, the primary outcome, which was, can we reduce the numbers of babies dying or being damaged, was not significant. Everyone's forgotten this. It was not significantly different in the two groups. The secondary outcome was reduction of cesarean section. And of course, that is the one that has now become, I guess, fairly infamous. And yes, there was a reduction between 22% and about 18%. So the recommendations started to sweep the world, which was, hey, here's a way we can reduce cesarean section. And what fascinates me is obstetrics has always been most interested in saving the baby. And when that didn't happen in this trial, they went on to say, oh, isn't it wonderful, we can reduce cesarean sections. But my argument to that is, if you look at the ARRIVE trial, one cesarean could have been avoided in that trial for every 28 planned induction of labour. So if we're looking at what we call numbers needed to treat. But what a lot of people don't have the conversation about is one cesarean is avoided for every 14 women who have continuous support during labour. Mm-hmm. So the most effective strategy is to have a doula, a midwife, people who are in your corner, being there for you, loving you, cherishing you, supporting you, giving you comfort. That's much more effective in reducing cesarean section than induction. So why is it that we are always on the side of doing more? Why is it that the relationship, the social, the emotional, psychological factors that have such power in birth, are always put into second place when it comes to medical interventions? And I won't go down the track of, we have massive machinery and pharmaceutical companies and hospitals that, make money out of making people sicker, to be really honest. So it was this background that made me think, well, first of all, the majority of women who don't want an induction are not represented in the study. So this is not generalizable to the population. The second thing it made me think was, well, isn't it interesting that when the same studies have been held in, for example, the Netherlands and Sweden and countries which have low cesarean section rates, there was no difference in cesarean section, none.